Are you responding to what's here and now? Or are you reacting based on pain from the past? You're listening to Pure Light, where we explore how you can believe in yourself and be happy with who you are. My name is Eiley. I help people do what they feel called to do. I'm a coach, writer, and yoga and meditation teacher. This is episode 145. So if you go back and listen to the episodes of this podcast that came out around February or March this year, you'll notice at some point that I stopped introducing myself as a Kundalini yoga and meditation teacher right around then. So I stopped using the word Kundalini because that was around the time that I was processing all the stuff that came out about the allegations against Yogi Bhajan that I've talked about in the last couple of episodes. Because at that point in time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep teaching or even practicing Kundalini. But the bigger reason that I stopped using the word Kundalini was because one of my friends who listens to this podcast was being triggered by the word Kundalini. So she had an experience of sexual assault years earlier, and that trauma kind of resurfaced when the stories about Yogi Bhajan came out, because the allegations against him reminded her of her own experience. So kind of like unearthed that pain within her to the point where she was like, I'm never doing Kundalini again. And also to the point where she was like, I can't handle even hearing that word. And she wasn't the only one who had a strong reaction like that was informed by a painful past experience. There were a bunch of other people who also had been assaulted who showed up in some of those Facebook groups that were created about Premka, who were also reacting based on their own past experience. So when you have unresolved or unhealed trauma, when that energy hasn't been processed in your system, it hangs around. It becomes emotional clutter. And that can cloud your judgment of what's going on right now. Because sometimes what you're reacting to isn't what's directly in front of you. It's based on a memory of the past. So it's like you're seeing things through the filter of past emotions because those haven't been processed in your system. And any unprocessed emotion has the potential to block you from fully seeing or fully experiencing what's happening now. And you may not be tuned into that pain or that energy all the time, but every once in a while, something happens that mirrors it back to you and lets you know that it's still there. Eckhart Tolle talked about this in The Power of Now. On page 36, when he was talking about the pain body, which is that pain from the past, that energy, that emotional clutter, he wrote, anything can trigger it, particularly if it resonates with a pain pattern from your past. When it's ready to awaken from its dormant stage, even a thought or an innocent remark made by someone close to you can activate it. So if you notice that something is bringing up pain from the past, where all of a sudden you're in fight or flight mode or frozen potentially, or reactive beyond what you would expect given the current situation, you can look at it in a couple of different ways. So you could look at it as a problem, as something to try to overcome so that you're, trying to force yourself not to react in that way, which I'm guessing would be pretty hard. I don't know that I've ever been able to do that. The other way that you could look at it is as a pointer. So as a sign that there's something here that needs your loving attention, that pain is there for you to heal. Your emotions are never wrong. They're a reflection of the energy inside you. And whatever's happening now is allowing you to see what's there. When you can be present with the pain from the past, when you really allow yourself to feel it fully, you allow that energy to move through you so that you aren't hanging on to it anymore, and so that you can set yourself free. Breathing practices are a great way to do that because you can practice breathing and feeling whatever that intense emotion is, and create space around it instead of getting caught up in it. I'll include links to a few breathing practices in the show notes, which you can find at purelightpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, may you be guided by your light.